Hello everyone, I suppose we are live now. Yeah, we are live, spot on. So welcome to today's class. Today we are going to have John Winnett for first time with us, and he's going to do yoga for back pain. So if you have worked in the office today, clenching down, or if you have some pains in your back, John is going to fix it for you. He's a master at the back pain as well. He's a Thai therapist, Thai massage therapist. So I'm looking forward to his class. Here you are, John. You can come on board.
Thank you, R.A.D.K.A. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's class. Is it day 22, I think you said? So, yeah, let's introduce the class. So, my name is John. I am a Thai body worker, manual therapist, and a yoga teacher. Let's begin the class by just setting an intention. So, bring yourself to a nice, comfortable, seated position somewhere where you can relax, somewhere where you can keep your back, your neck and your head in a straight line, somewhere seated maybe, either on the floor or on a chair. Now when you're ready, take a nice deep inhale all the way in. And exhale fully, softly closing your eyes. I welcome you all with my love and respect. Namaste. So today's lesson, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about managing back pain, or any kind of pain really, but the asana, the poses that I'm going to show you are specifically to try and help people to deal with chronic back pain. So let's just talk about that to begin with, that word, that back pain issue, that horrible, relentless, ruthless, never-ending bastard back pain that just will never ever go away. So I just want to sort of reassure you that it can go away, it can happen. So usually the reason it happens, especially in a chronic stage, so chronic stage means that it's after a long time after you have been suffering either an acute trauma or any kind of injury, but the pain still stays there. Your body should fix itself somewhere between about 6 to 12 weeks. Your body will have repaired itself. The repair might not be identical to what was there before, but your body's made its best effort to put itself back to the way which is adequately functional for you. But what remains is still a lot of pain. So what you've still got left with this alarm system. And in this case, we'll talk about low back. So you've still got this intense alarm system, which is still giving your brain signals to say something's wrong here. So the brain is believing that and saying, okay, let's have a pain signal. Let's send an alarm signal to that area and say that it's hurting. So the answer to this is, first of all, to understand that if you have got a chronic condition, chances are you don't have a soft tissue injury to worry about. And it's very important that pain is a worrying thing. Pain is a big deal. You know, it's a protection mechanism. It's there to tell us to stop doing something. But once the repair has taken place, once the repair is finished, we need to try and train that alarm system just to calm down and relax and let everything return to normal. And the way we do that is to move and to exercise, but to do this gently. We want to take ourselves to a level which is well before you trigger that pain. And if you can do that, you do it regularly. And if you can do it regularly, then you gradually increase the intensity, bringing yourself somewhere close back to normal again. And that situation there is where you can move much more freely. You've got much less pain. And that to me sounds like a resolution to the problem. So I'm going to show you something that you can do. You can either do this as a routine. It's a good idea to try and do this regularly, but the most important thing is that the asanas I'll show you, do them within the scope of your own capability. So you don't have to be exactly the same shape as me. I don't make the best shapes. Although I teach yoga, I've got a spinal injury myself, which is why I do it. And I do this daily, and it keeps me in a space where I'm able to keep moving. So I'm just going to switch over to another camera. So if you come and join me in a comfortable position somewhere, you don't have to sit cross-legged, although this is a space where you can keep yourself nice and upright, nice and straight. You can sit on your knees if that's more comfortable. Okay. If this is still a stress on your knees, then you can grab something like a block or a cushion or a bolster, for example, and you can sit on this, which will take the pressure away from your knees. Okay. Any sort of cushion, you can fold it up and sit on it. So with that said, first thing is to find your comfortable space. Okay. Now, the reason I've got you here is because I want to just use a little bit of breath work just to calm and relax you, to get your mind into a space where you're ready to observe what's going on in your body, where you are not distracted by what's going on in the outside world. You're listening to yourself. You're listening to those pain signals. You're listening to the point at which you think you might be going too far, because that's where you want to be aware of, and that's where you want to be avoiding pushing beyond that point. So we'll do that with some breath work. So if you're nice and comfortably seated, just bring your attention to your surroundings. Any sounds, might be traffic, people talking, electric appliances, anything that you can hear. Just observe anything that you can hear around you. Now bring your attention to your body and just checking in, maybe starting at your feet, your toes, just having your awareness centered to each part of your body, coming up through your legs to your knees, thighs, hips, spine, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, jaw, head. Just setting a baseline of awareness. What's in pain, what's uncomfortable, and what's okay. Now bring your attention to your breathing, and more specifically your belly. Just your belly. As you breathe in, try and send your belly out and away from you. And as you exhale, bringing your belly in. And just keep repeating that process, sending your belly out on every inhale, and drawing it in towards your spine with every exhale. Breathing fully and deeply, and concentrating on your breath. You can bring this one stage further now. As you inhale, belly comes out, and now continue to inhale into your chest, lifting your chest up, filling your lungs. And as you exhale, allow your chest to soften and collapse, and then drawing your belly in towards your spine. So breathing into the belly first, Then continuing to breathe into the chest. As you exhale, chest softens, belly comes in. And keep repeating that pattern in your own time. And finally, as you inhale, inhaling into your belly, and feeling your chest, and then lifting your shoulders, topping up that breath, filling it all the way up to your throat. And as you exhale, dropping the shoulders, softening, collapsing the chest, drawing the belly into the spine. Breathing in, belly, chest, shoulders. Exhale, relaxing shoulders, chest, belly towards the spine. Keep going, just for a couple more. Notice your nervous system calming, becoming more aware of your body. Okay. Relax and return to your normal breathing. So, the movement I wanted to show you today is focused on trying to create a little bit of space in low back. So we're talking lumbar spine, the bottom 5 vertebrae of your spine, and continuing down where your sacrum is kind of a triangular shaped bone, which is situated at the bottom of the spine. It's an immovable bone, it's a solid bone. There's 5 fused bones which are part of your sacrum. But your sacrum has got 2 attachments, as your iliac crests, your innominate bones, which form your pelvis. So there are these 2 bones which form the bowl shape of your pelvis, which are connected to this sacrum at the bottom. So as well as those lumbar spine discs, vertebrae, which are very, very prone to degeneration, which is perfectly natural. As we get older, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of load management which happens in that lower spine, and it's perfectly natural for them to begin to lose height, for them to become compressed, and occasionally to become aggravated. So if you've ever been diagnosed with something like disc degeneration or herniated disc or SIJ, bursitis, sacroiliac joint bursitis, don't have to have those things as a label to continually justify you being in pain. The MRI scan for my back shows one disc really poking into my spinal cord, but it doesn't hurt all the time. It doesn't have to hurt all the time. So don't try not to give yourself a label to justify being in pain all the time. Okay? So, first pose. We're going to come up into a kneeling position. So, onto your hands and knees. And all we're going to do is we're going to sit back onto our heels. Again, if this is not comfortable for you, you can sit onto a block. And then we're going to go into a child's pose, which just means we're going to sink our chest down onto the top of our thighs. Your hands can go out in front of you, or they can come down by the side of your body, palms facing towards the sky. Okay, so I'll just show you that from a different angle. So sitting on your knees and folding your chest down onto your thighs. And you're going to feel the bottom part of your spine, the lumbar part of your spine, just beginning to stretch a little bit. You're going to feel that rotation in your hips and your sacroiliac joint. It's going to put a little bit of pressure by expanding those joints. So take yourself to the limits of what's comfortable in this space and just observe it. Using your breath, breathing deeply. By inhaling fully, you're going to put pressure through your abdomen into that space at the bottom of your spine, further asking it to expand. And as you exhale, keep drawing your belly in, which will allow you to fold down further, making space for you to move further. Okay. So moving on, the next pose I want to show you is a slightly different from your child's pose. But you can come into this from your child's pose. So from here, we're going to come up, bringing our thighs vertical, pushing our hands out in front of us. And this pose is called puppy dog. You're going to keep your thighs vertical and just allow your chest to sink towards the ground. And this is going to flex your spine in the opposite direction. It's going to put you into spinal flexion very slightly. It's going to add a curve into your back. And again, you are going to be adjusting the pressure that you are putting on your spine by how much you allow your chest to sink down. You can control it with your hands and your arms. How far you are allowing yourself to sink. And again, keep breathing deeply. Same thing applies. A deep breath is going to open up your spine, and a deep exhale is going to create some negative pressure in your lower abdomen, which is going to stretch through your spine. Okay. So moving on from there, this is going to be one continuous flowing movement. So from your puppy dog, we're going to bring our body weight over the top of our hands and just settle into a prone lying position. So laying face down, folding your hands underneath your head and laying down. So this is completely passive. There's no stretch involved here at all. This is just taking time to allow everything to sink into the mats, into the floor. And here is a good time for you to observe and allow everything to soften. We'll take a few breaths here just as you observe everything through your body and allow it to relax and soften. So moving on, we're going to take our hands and place them underneath our shoulders now, and we're going to gently lift our chest off the mat into a Cobra Pose. We call this a Cobra Pose. So try and keep your elbows tucked into the side of your body and look ahead of you. So your attention in this pose should be trying to use the muscles which are either side of your spine and trying to use nothing but those muscles. We're trying to encourage them to work. We're trying to encourage them to switch on and do this task for us. There's no need to use any other muscles. There's no need to use our glute muscles, our hamstrings. There's no need to use shoulders. So if you feel them working, try and send your attention there and ask them to soften. Ask them to switch off. Once you've been here for a few breaths, then you can just settle back down into this crocodile pose, where you are laying with your head on your hands completely passively once again. Okay, the next thing is to specifically use these glute muscles. Okay, to do that we're going to lay flat and just trying to hinge our leg and lift our leg off the mat, keeping the leg straight and trying to focus your attention on using just that glute muscle in your butt. You don't have to lift your leg off very far. You want to feel it working. You want to feel it beginning to just heat up a little bit. And then you can place that leg back down and head on over to the other one, lifting the other leg off. And again, focusing on just trying to use that one muscle in your butt. And once again, laying back down and relaxing, allowing all those muscles to soften again. Okay. So now we're going to move on to working supine, laying face up. And there's a couple of things we can do here. So we've focused on trying to engage the muscles through our spine and also trying to engage these muscles in the glutes. Okay. So the next muscles we're going to focus on along the front of our body before we finish by twisting the spine for a little bit more mobilization. So laying flat on your back, in this would be a Shavasana pose. Your legs fall apart slightly, your feet fall apart slightly, palms of the hands facing up towards the sky. So from here, we're going to bring our attention to everything in our core. So all the muscles we're going to use are going to start from around our armpits, all the way down the sides and all the way down the front of our belly. And all we're going to do is lift our head off the mat and continue to curl the spine up. You feel everything engaging. You don't have to move your pelvis at all. You just want to shorten this chain of muscles through the front of your body. And once you've done that 2 or 3 times and held it maybe for a couple of breaths, then you can relax again into this Shavasana pose, allowing everything to switch off. So moving on to the muscles at the front of your hips. These will be the top part of your quadriceps. It's going to involve deep muscles like iliacus and psoas, muscles which you've heard of, but you can't actually touch them. And we're going to activate all of these by keeping our pelvis locked onto the mat and just lifting our leg up. Trying to focus on these muscles working. Everything at the front of our pelvis is holding this leg in place. You can flex your foot, so bringing your toes towards you to stretch down the back of your leg and holding for a few breaths, and then gently and controlled lowering it back down again. We'll just show you on the other side as well. So right leg, pelvis stays locked onto the mat. It doesn't have to come up very far, just enough to engage everything which is supposed to be activated for this movement. Flexing the toes, keep breathing deeply, and after a few breaths, lowering back down again. And for each of these poses, you can hold them for as long as you feel is of benefit to you, and in between each of these poses you can relax for as long as you feel you need to before you move on. So this sequence that I'm showing you is just for demonstration purposes. You can follow it and you can change it to incorporate any length of time to hold any of these poses. So finally, as far as movement is concerned, let's bring our legs up and bring our knees in towards our chest. And you can link your fingers together in front of your shins and just allow your legs to relax and use your arms to pull your legs in towards your chest for your wind releasing pose. And then from here, you can keep hold of one leg. Let's keep hold of the right leg and send the left leg down towards the bottom of your mat, straightening it out, laying it onto the ground. And then with your right leg still bent, you can take your left hand onto the outside of the right knee. Your right arm goes flat onto the ground, outstretched beside you. And keeping your shoulders in contact with the mat, just gently roll over towards the left. Feeling the useful twist in your spine, feeling the extension of the muscles through your glutes, your iliothoracic band, everything through your low back is getting a gentle stretch, not pushing too far, just enough for you to notice. And switching to the other side, we can come back to center. And before we do the other side, it's nice just to take another wind releasing pose, just to gather the legs in, and then allow the right leg to straighten. And doing exactly the same as we've done before, but on the opposite side. So holding onto your left leg, your right hand goes on the outside of the left knee, left arm straightens out to the side before rolling your pelvis over towards the right. And it's nice to finish by coming back to center, hugging your knees in once more before sending both down to relax and staying here just for a couple of minutes, just to finally observe the effects of what you've done for the last 15, 20 minutes, however long you've used this sequence for. Okay, so by all means use that sequence in your own time. Please don't forget not to push yourself too hard. Be kind to your own body. Be aware of where your limitations are, and don't use anything which is painful. The best results come through dedicated and consistent use. So doing the practice every day would be ideal. 2 or 3 times a week would be perfectly adequate. But the more frequently you do this, then the more chance you've got of reprogramming these pain response mechanisms that are in your back to relax, just to decommission themselves, and returning you back to, an improved amount of movement and a lower levels of pain. So thank you for joining me, everybody. And if you have any questions or comments, by all means, leave them down below and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Namaste. Over to you, R.A.D.K.A.
Lot of different variations of yoga, but I enjoy the most the slow type of yoga that you have provided us with today, because even though it is slow, you can feel every single muscle working. It is a lot more powerful because I think it goes on a deeper level, and especially if you hold the pose for a while, this gives you even bigger effect to the muscles that are working. I truly enjoyed today's practice, and I feel extremely relaxed, first of all. And second, I feel great here, like a blockage has gone from the back area. Thank you ever so much. And if anybody has any questions or any comments, or you would like to get in touch with John, he's leading regular classes in his area. He's based in the UK. I suppose that John is going to give us any contact details for social media so that people can get in contact with him. And if anybody lives around his area, feel welcome to join his classes. He's doing a weekly offline classes, and as well, we hope soon he will start online as well alongside with his offline classes. But he's specialist in Thai body workout, so please make sure that if you have any issues or you need extra support, to contact him and arrange a treatment with him. Because from what I heard today, it's wow, John, I really enjoyed today's class. You're so knowledgeable and you're amazing. Thank you, honestly. I will just leave the live view and we have to go. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, all of you. Tomorrow is Thursday. It's me, 11 o'clock meditation. And you can book live on the Zoom link for first time. So take advantage of that. If you want to attend a live Zoom with me, go on the website and book the link. And I hope to see some of you live on Zoom.